All right, welcome into another episode of the News4JAGs podcast. Jamal St. Cyr alongside Justin Barney. Justin, we're almost there.
Man. We are getting to the finish line. Still the Jags, 1.5 point dog to the Bills. Did see on ESPN, Mr. Barnwell wrote the playoff predictions. He predicted the Bills to go to the Super Bowl and lose to the Rams. So
how about that?
They beat the Jags 28-24 was his prediction for Sunday. I'm not in line with that.
He's got half of my Super Bowl matchup. Half of it. So I do think the Rams
Bills half or the Rams half?
The Rams half. Rams half. I do not have the Bills half.
All right.
My Super Bowl, and we'll start with this, and then we can go to something else. But I have Jags Rams. I have the Rams winning.
Ooh, man.
But I do have Jags Rams.
Okay.
So that is my Super Bowl matchup, and I'm sticking to it. So, okay, how about this? I got a couple cool stats I'll throw at you.
All right.
We'll keep this podcast very streamlined because we're getting closer and closer to this thing. Tomorrow's episode, maybe we'll do our picks for the game. Maybe a few or don't be surprised ifs or something.
We already did our prop. We already did our prop bets. Yeah. And did you already lay all your money down with Hard Rock?
I have. You want me to tell you my tickets?
Oh man!
I might have did 2 tickets. No, did I only do 1?
It's kind of like the fantasy team philosophy.
Yeah, I only did
27.
So okay, hold on. So I do have 2. I did 1 that was just straight games.
Okay.
I did Rams to win, Packers to win, Jags to win, 49ers to win, and Chargers to win. So I got a 5-game parlay.
All right. How about that? All right.
Of just my wins. Chargers to win. So,
Chargers to win. All right.
On the other end, all right, here's my Jaguars one. I took the over on Parker Washington, which was at 48.5 receiving yards.
I did too.
I took the over on Brian Thomas Jr. at 43.5.
Okay.
I took the under on James Cook. The line was 81.5.
I took the under on him too.
All right. I took the over on Trevor Lawrence at 230.5. With a Trevor Lawrence anytime touchdown, the Bills defense rushing yards for a quarterback, the most of any playoff team. And Trevor's had quite a few designed runs and been averaging pretty well, so I like my odds on that one. I got a Jaguars to win. And here's the kicker. I got the points total under 51.5.
Wow, okay. So you're going the opposite of me. I picked pretty much on all those parlays with you except maybe the BTJ one. I do think it's going to be a higher scoring game. I do think it'll be kind of like Barnwell said, 28-24. I think it'll be a game like that. I would lean more towards 32-28, something along the line. Jaguars, I'm going to pick the Jaguars to win, but we'll get to that tomorrow. So, yeah, I'm with you on pretty much all of that. I do think it's going to be a higher scoring game.
We had one a couple of weeks ago. I don't remember. I was sitting in here watching the game with Kyle, and all I needed was a LaQuint Allen to gain 1 yard. I'm sitting in here, I'm like, give the ball to LaQuint.
All right, Freddie's going to fight somebody. So bad Jaguars rookie performance class. Not a lot of production from the rookies this year. And again, still
it's not about year one.
With not a lot of production from the rookie class, with a lot of injuries, they're still 13-14 and playing the playoffs.
That's right. All right, how about a couple of cool stats here, Justin? Antonio Johnson and Devin Lloyd, only players in the NFL with 5 or more interceptions and a sack this season.
Which is crazy to me because Antonio, day 3 pick, he's had those moments in his career, year 3 for him, right? So he's had those moments in his career where he's found his way into games, and I think of his 5 interceptions this year, 3 have been like on the last drive of the game. So he's actually doing well, and if you look, even in that Texans game, he had a forced fumble to end that game, right? Yeah. So they're getting...
He's been a game changer for this year.
Getting out of a 6th-round pick, which is really good.
Yeah, look, honestly, Antonio, that draft class, Antonio and Parker were on my steals list that I put out going into it. And when Antonio kept sliding, I was like, what happened in the pre-draft process? And I still have I don't know the answer to that, but, he fell right into the Jaguars' lap. And it worked out.
It's worked. That class is actually
uber talented.
Actually played out well.
And he's going to be he is going to be he's quietly my key to this game. So the Bills like to deploy their tight ends. Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah, I wanted Dalton Kincaid in the draft. Yeah. Man, he would have been perfect.
But they like to deploy those 2 tight end sets, and that's so they can get these teams to go heavy with linebackers, and then they throw against you. Well, the Jaguars are going to probably roll out that 3 safety look quite a bit. The guy Antonio Johnson is going to be tasked with trying to help slow down those tight ends and make sure that the Jaguars don't have to go heavy. So I think Antonio Johnson's quietly, can he hold up against the run? Because that's what a lot more of these teams are doing. They're going with these tight ends, and you say, okay, I'm going to go heavy, and then they throw, and then when you go light to defend the pass, then they run on you.
Right.
So Antonio Johnson's going to quietly be a key because he's a big guy who can play close to the line of scrimmage and give you a lot in the run game and in the pass game. So he's quietly my key. He has a big day.
And he's not even a starter, and he's got 5 interceptions.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
All right, how about this one? Foye Oluokun led the Jaguars with 143 tackles in 2025. How about this? 6 consecutive season with 100 plus tackles.
Yeah, and he's been, man, even from his time with the Falcons before coming to here. I mean, Ivy League football player comes and he's just a tackling machine, and you know, he's that cerebral kind of guy. You don't really notice him on the field when he's doing it. I mean, he's just kind of the guy. He goes to work, the lunch pail kind of guy. Man, at the end of the game, you're like, how did Foye have 14 tackles? Hey. And again, 143 tackles this year, pretty darn impressive.
Yeah, he's a guy who helps get everybody in the place where they need to be. Okay, here's one that's cool for Travis Etienne, and you might remember some of what we're talking about here. Travis Etienne was one of 6 running backs, just 6 in the league, with 1,350 plus scrimmage yards, 35 plus receptions, and 12 plus touchdowns this season. But he's on the verge of maybe some franchise history if he can have a big game. He needs 200 scrimmage yards to surpass Natron Means for the most postseason scrimmage yards in franchise history.
Natron had an unbelievable playoff run in '96.
Yeah.
He was, you know, a guy, I mean, people remember Natron as with the Chargers. He was this unbelievable, just bruising back. And he came to Jacksonville after that time in San Diego, and man, he was just such a fun player to watch. Remember, he had he was not a guy that you thought as like a pass-catching back. He was a big guy, almost more like a fullback, and he had a catch in that Broncos game down the sideline. It was just like, wow. In the first half of that game, you're thinking, man, this is going right. But that was a blast from the past. I haven't heard that name in forever.
There
he was
you
fun
go.
to watch.
Travis Etienne, a big day, and he passes him, but maybe a couple weeks, maybe 2 games, and then he can go ahead and move into that.
Travis's last game in Jacksonville too. If they lose,
whoa,
if they lose, 5th-year option.
Slow it down.
Do they bring him back? That's a big question.
We're gonna live in the present right now.
Do they bring him back next year? You bring Travis back? Knowing what it costs to keep him?
I would try. Here's what I think is gonna happen. I think James Gladstone and company are gonna set their price. Travis is gonna go test the market, and he's gonna see if the grass is greener, if the price is higher somewhere else. Now, Here would be my caveat: is there have been other running backs that have done the same thing, and then they go the other place and they don't have the production. They wind up
settling for a 1-year, $3 million deal.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
but because if you go and look for the money and then the money dries up and it's not there, then you end up settling for something because the Jags are going to have to move on in that case.
Well, you Travis, so
I don't know. If I was the Jags, I would make a push to bring him back, mostly because while I like Tootin and I like LeQuint, I haven't seen enough to feel comfortable to say that they're ready to move and usurp him.
You know who would have been comfortable to usurp him? Ashton Genty.
Maybe not.
Who finished here healthy, by the way.
Yeah. I also don't know if you can find another guy out there on the free agent market, or if you wanted to really go in with a really young running back from draft another guy, and you got 2 second-year guys. Like, that doesn't seem ideal. So, perfect world, maybe you can get Etienne back on a 2 or 3 year deal that's really reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have Devin Lloyd. I mean, I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but I mean, Devin Lloyd, he is probably priced himself out of Jacksonville unless they slap a tag on him or something.
I think here's the conversation, and then we're gonna stop this because they're still playing football, and we got a whole offseason to talk about.
Forgive us because we're used to talking about draft at this point of the year already.
But the franchise tag conversation is either Devin Lloyd or Travis Etienne gets it right. I would be more apt to tag Travis Etienne.
Okay.
I would be apt to tag Travis Etienne because if you give him another year, then you pay him heavily, which that running back tag is hefty, but that gives you another year to see more Toot and see more of LeQuint, and you don't have to just completely go cheap on the running back room or young on the running back room. You still have Foye. You'll be able to find another inside backer, or you could draft a guy to compete with Jack Kaiser.
Positional value with Devin and Travis. I mean, those inside backers are a little bit. I mean, we're not talking an edge guy, so Devin's going to get paid regardless. And good for him. Good for him.
New York Jets.
Could be.
That's where I've said it before. I'll say it again.
No picks for the Jets in 17 games.
And Devin saying,
I'm coming with 5 of them.
I'm just saying.
Coming with 5 of them.
That's my prediction of where he lands. All right. How about one for Trevor? Trevor Lawrence ranked 5th in the NFL in touchdown passes, 6th in pass yards in 2025. He became the 4th player ever with 25 plus touchdown passes and 9 plus rushing touchdowns in a season, which is impressive, especially considering the amount of dual threat quarterbacks there have been in league history.
Who are that? Let me see. Any of the other ones recent?
Off the top of my head, I don't know. I don't have all 9 in front of me, or the other 3 in front of me.
Okay, so I'm going to say,
have the other 3.
I'm just completely guessing here. I would say,
Let me see.
Maybe okay.
He's come from the back row, saying Cam Newton.
Cam Newton would be one. I'm going to say, if I had to guess, maybe a Steve McNair or a Kyler Murray would be my guess for another guy, or a Vince Young.
Let me see if I can pull
kind of guy. So that's interesting. 25 and 9. Was it how many TD passes?
25 plus.
25 and 9 rushing TDs.
Touchdowns.
So I'm going to say Kyler Murray is one. Maybe a Vince Young / Steve McNair would be another.
I think. Hold on. I'm trying to find it now. Hold on. 25 and 14. So Josh Allen.
Okay. Oh, Josh Allen. Okay.
Cam Newton, Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
Those are the other 3.
Okay. I was completely wrong.
Those are the other 3, and then Trevor is the 4th, which there you go.
Wow. Okay. How about that?
He needs 170 passing yards to pass Mark Brunell for the most postseason passing yards in franchise history.
And we think he'll get it this week.
I would go ahead and say he'll probably go ahead and
picked the over on Trevor going, I think, 230. So I think he gets that. So we heard from Trevor on Wednesday of this week. We heard from Liam on Wednesday and coordinators earlier today. Anything pop out from those?
Nothing too crazy when I think about what Liam had to say. I mean, he talked a little bit about just trying to keep this week the same. And just trying to make sure that the team stays leveled, and that's overall what it's been for the guys in the locker room. But I mean, I think if anything that stuck out to me, it's the excitement from some of these guys in the locker room about to play in a playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
Like we talked to Antonio Johnson, and he's excited to get out there in the playoff game. But how about this one? Think back to that 2017 team. One guy who was on the Jaguars in 2017, played in Buffalo, is now with the Jaguars now. Dawuane Smoot. Yep. We caught up with him in the locker room. We asked him any similarities between the 2017 Jags and this Jags, and he said, not quite.
I mean, when it comes to similarities, like the wins, no. This team is, I feel like we're so much more together. We're so much more of a team. And I feel like this playoffs, we definitely have a big chance to do something special here in Jacksonville for sure. You already know back in 2017, we were like one of them teams that just talk all the time. But this team's a little bit different for sure. And then there's a lot of different people on the other side as well, too, with Buffalo. Now we got to play against Josh Allen. We already know he's a dynamic threat, and James Cook as well, too, so we got to stop him.
There you go. You hear from the guy.
I like it. Yeah, I like Smoot's one of my guys, man. I love went over his house a couple years ago and talked to he and his wife about their childbirth experience, and really just a guy that when he came back here this season, I mean, everybody on the media going up and giving him high five. I mean, the guy, just a good guy. The fans like him. Really good guy with the media. Mm-hmm. And it's really cool, the storyline to me. He's here from 2017. He just happened to have come back to the Jaguars from Buffalo. That's coming in on Sunday. So the parallel is just so cool.
Yeah, look, a lot of parallels in this thing. I mean, it'll be cool to see this game. I mean, for him, he said there was a lot of good guys on the other sideline. But obviously he's going to be rooting for his guys to go out there and take care of business this week. So, look, this is a big game. There's no way around it. Big game atmosphere on deck. It is going to be a packed house at the bank. Yeah. Absolutely gridded with folks.
Man, I see standing room only tickets selling for $200
plus dollars.
Man.
$200 plus dollars.
So if you've not gotten your tickets yet, you're going to pay. You're going to pay.
Yes.
You are going to pay. But, it's I'd say once in a generation thing, but it kind of feels like that with how bad the Jaguars have been in the last, since Shad Khan has owned the team. So it's certainly not a once a year thing for Jacksonville to be hosting a playoff game. 2017, that we had the 2022 season, and now here we are, the 2025 into 2026 season. So it doesn't happen too often.
Well, hey, it might happen again next year.
Doesn't happen too often.
I mean, think about it. Look, Liam's first year. I think most people like to think Liam's the guy, right?
Bucs just fired their offensive coordinator today,
Bucs did just fire their offensive coordinator. So that also will be interesting to see because remember, since we're down that road, Liam wanted to bring a handful of the guys from that offensive staff in Tampa with him to Jacksonville. A lot of those were those attempts to hire guys was told no. So it'll be interesting to see once the season wraps up if he's able to reach back and create some positions. Run game coordinator, kind of jobs to add those guys.
It happens every year. The Jaguars will lose a coach or two, an assistant or two from this team to somewhere else with a promotion or something along those lines. So it'll be interesting to see how much of this staff gets vultured away.
Okay, one last question before we wrap this thing up. 25% of the league is looking for a head coach.
Crazy.
Would you pull one of the Jaguars coordinators
I don't
for a
know.
head coaching job right now?
It would be a little early, in my opinion, because
25% of the league, so they got to come from somewhere.
They do, and it would be an outside of the box hire if. I don't know, and I kind of err on the side of it's good to have experience, and in Jacksonville this year, it kind of was the complete opposite of that.
Yep.
So I'm kind of the guy where it's like, I do subscribe to the theory of, hey, blow it up and try something completely new. Jacksonville, what Shad Khan and Tony Baselli did this year was completely outside of the box, and it worked out to their to everyone's success and happiness. But if I'm a team and I'm looking at is Grant Udinski? I mean, he would be a guy I would look at from an offensive perspective.
That's where you go? Okay.
I would say, it's a completely outside the box saying because the guy's 30 years old, doesn't have a lot of that experience, but he's come from the coaching tree up in Minnesota, down to Jacksonville, was on a staff that's really gotten the most out of a very polarizing guy in Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
So it seems to be the hire the young offensive kind of guy. Campanile, what he's done with the Jaguars defense, those would be the two guys that I think we'd be talking about.
So.
Those would be the two guys that I think we'd be talking about moving on. I don't know if I would pull the trigger on either of those guys. I would like to have a little more seasoning other than the kind of the one year wonder kind of guys. But I do think that Jacksonville will lose an assistant somewhere along the way this year.
Maybe. Who knows? Look, we'll see what happens. Since we are talking about those guys possibly being head coaching candidates.
Mike McDaniel going today, too? Man.
25% of the league needs new head coaches, so they got to come from somewhere. Grant, I could see needing another year. He doesn't call plays, so I think that's always a tough hurdle to get past. But for Coach Campanile, we actually asked Dewey Wingard in the locker room what he thought about the opportunity of Coach Camp being a head coach.
As he should, yeah, absolutely. What he's done on the just like the personal side with this defense, I think that correlates big time to being a head coach, of just being able to rally a bunch of guys, get them to believe in a singular vision, and then being able to get those results and keep the faith and keep guys moving along even through the bad stuff. I think that has head coach written all over it. So whether he gets it or not, he will probably be a head coach. Maybe if it's not this year, next year at some point. I know a lot of coaches, sometimes they don't even want to be head. Sometimes guys just want to stay a DC their whole life, which maybe he wants to do that. I don't know. So we'll see. But he definitely could easily, and he knows offense too. Like he's coached offense too, so he knows both sides of the ball. So.
Look,
hey, good endorsement. Good endorsement.
He even said if it's not this year, maybe next year, but soon. So
I just would like to see more than kind of how you hear about the quarterbacks in college going to the draft after Anthony Richardson's situation, for instance. Guys who don't have more than 20 games of starting experience in college going to be that first-round pick and being kind of the franchise guy. So I do think there's something to be said with that from the coaching ranks as well. But again, it could go the complete opposite way, where Liam Cohen, never been a head coach at JV in high school, in college, never in NFL, and yet he comes to Jacksonville and has the second best season in the 31-year franchise history. So he hires a coordinator, Grant Udinski, who's 29 years old, never been a coordinator. He hires Anthony Campanile, never been a coordinator, and the offense has been remarkable this year. The defense has 22 interceptions, the most in franchise history. So again, it's a toss-up. You could have a situation like this let's say they hire Grant and he goes to Miami and has unbelievable renaissance there, and Anthony's hired to go to the Giants and bursts out and has a terrible. He's done after 12 games kind of thing. I mean, it's a crapshoot. Thankfully, it worked out in Jacksonville. But to me, I would like my guys, kind of like a quarterback going to the first round, to have a little bit more seasoning on them.
Hey, look, that's good for the Jaguars. You get a little stability in place, keep those guys together. Best case scenarios, those guys actually don't get jobs. But I do like Coach Camp. I do like Grant. So both of them, I do think, have head coach potential one day.
Hey,
best case for the Jaguars is they stay in Jacksonville for at least one more season.
Didn't we talk about before Mike Caldwell going to?
We did. We did. And I will stand on, this is my take to this day. If they don't scapegoat Mike Caldwell and that defensive staff, Doug would still be the head coach right now.
Yeah, okay.
He scapegoated Mike Caldwell.
Press Taylor should have been gone.
But if they don't scapegoat that defensive staff, Mike's defense was fine.
Yeah.
The problem was never the defense. If they don't scapegoat Mike Caldwell and that defensive staff, Doug would have got another year. Because
too bad.
That defense would have been good enough to get them a couple extra wins.
Now you see
Ryan Nielsen, that was terrible. This is also the return of Ryan Nielsen since he's on the Buffalo staff. So there you go.
We talk about coaching vacancies. You know, the guy who interviewed for the Jaguars job, the Raiders defensive coordinator. Yeah. He's going to be swept out with the Pete Carroll news. Yeah. So it's just interesting. The Bucs coordinator.
Look, Patrick Graham. Graham. He's a solid coach, but I mean, I said it when it was going through all of it. He has been like, I understand that as a coordinator, it's not all in your control, but it's the same reason why. I guess I felt like Kellen Moore. I wasn't a huge fan. Once you've been fired like 3 or 4 times, like you're clearly not a part of the solution. Yeah. Even if it wasn't all you. You've been brought in and you've been a part of these staffs that have been shown the door repeatedly.
Now, the guy I wanted for the Jaguars job, Cliff Kingsbury,
he's also been fired. He's also been fired.
I think it was a mutual separation. Yeah,
it was a mutual separation. You can resign, or we're gonna fire you. That's what that was.
So Kingsbury is gone as well. So yeah, I'm not batting anywhere close to 100, 1,000 in my guys. But yeah, Raiders job is open. Yep. Dolphins job is open. Giants is open. Falcons is open. Cardinals is open. Man, it has been
a lot of open jobs.
A turnstile. And not even those head coach. I mean, a lot of the coordinators have been gone too. Even though Todd Bowles is back, I mean, he got rid of his offensive coordinator and run game coordinator. I mean, a lot of turnover in the league this year. So I would not be surprised to see somebody on Jacksonville staff, even if it's not the coordinators, leave and go into a bigger position.
Well, we'll see what happens. But one way or another, we got a lot of playoff coverage coming your way on Sunday. So we got 2 hours of playoff coverage locked and loaded for you. We're going to be streaming on News4JAGs.com, News4JAGs Plus app starting at 10 a.m. on game day. We'll go from 10 a.m. to noon. 11:30 to noon, you can catch us on TV on Channel 4, or you can just, if you've been watching since 10, you can just stay with us over on stream because we'll be there.
Exciting, man.
We'll be over at the Slab.
Doesn't happen often. So, man, it's just, again, I said it the other day. I've said it all the time, so many times, when there's a good football team in town and you're having success like now, it's just so unifying. It's excitement. Vibrant. It's not the Jaguars suck. You look at the bottom of the comments on our stories. It's not, go move the team or get. It's just such a good vibe around the whole city. It's just so exciting to see this and have that groundswell of support from the Jacksonville. Because, again, we're going to have a reduced capacity stadium coming up this year. Yep. They're going to be in likely Orlando the following year. So it's just exciting before this kind of sea of change comes.
Just wait until they beat the Bills by 2 scores and see how the place explodes
Bills
next
are going
week.
to the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, somewhere. They're going to a bowl.
I would love to see the Bills get back to Super Bowl. I remember back in the 90s when Jim Kelly and those guys were there, to get back to that Super Bowl and win one. I just don't think it should be this year.
It's not this year.
I don't think it's going to be this year.
For whatever, I don't think this game's going to be that close. But I'll save some of that for tomorrow. I don't think it's going to be that close.
All right. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a close, high-scoring game.
Nah, but we'll talk about that on the next episode of News4JAGs podcast. We're getting closer and closer to game day. Hopefully you've been following along with us all week as we've gone through stuff, and we will see you guys next time.